On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, I welcome Steve Gehrmann to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Gehrmann, a self-published author whose journey from small-town memories to published pages is packed with humor, heart, and hustle. He shares how writing helped him help others to be happier, from radio dreams to sports fanatic and everything in between. This is such an entertaining episode. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous episodes on Facebook at Survive and Thrive 8791, the podcast. Don't forget to hit that follow button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you liked what you heard. If there's a topic or you know a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecora@gmail.com. Glad you could join us. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning, featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Before I introduce our esteemed guest via phone link today, I'd like to highlight the upcoming Survive and Thrive 8791 Mental Health and Recovery Conference taking place in the capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. Join us on Wednesday and Thursday, October 29th and 30th at the Ho-Chunk Nation Madison branch office over here on the south side of Madison. This powerful two-day event will feature several speakers who will share their stories through mental health and addiction challenges and how they've learned to survive and thrive. You can register for the conference on our website. If you're a business or an advocate of mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Our website is surviveandthrive8791.com. Say that 5 times as fast as you can. This is our guest and episode intro. According to the internet, and the internet is always right, correct, Steve?
That is correct, Tim.
That is correct, Tim. Nice monotone voice. I think that he means that. Well, in my house, Steve, I don't need the internet. I don't need Google. I don't need Siri. I don't need Alexa. I've got my wife, Sarah, and she's always right.
That's the way it goes, Tim.
Dead silence. Dead silence. I love it. According to an AI, artificial intelligence overview, approximately 3 to 4 million new book titles are published each year worldwide, with the majority being self-published. While traditional publishers release between 500,000 to 1 million new titles annually, self-publishing accounts for a significant portion, with over 2.6 million self-published books released in 2023 alone. And that's according to Bowker Data. Today's guest did just that twice, self-publishing 2 books. Today, I welcome Steve Gehrmann to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Raised in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, Steve attended Sun Prairie High School and is a proud Cardinal. After high school, Steve would take his talents to the Harvard of the Midwest, and if you can see me, I've got my tongue in cheek, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, where he earned a radio and TV broadcasting degree with a minor in business. With that degree in hand, Steve would start his professional career at a small radio station in Watertown, Wisconsin, going from business to business, selling radio ads. He would have his own radio shows during that time. Fast forward to today, Steve is gainfully employed with Summit Credit Union. Today, I'm so glad you could join us. Steve Gehrmann, what is up?
How are you doing, Tim? I'm doing great. A lot better than a week ago when I had my shoulder replacement surgery. It's going pretty good.
Shoulder replacement surgery. Okay, how is the rehab going? They got you pitching down on one of the single A minor league teams?
Right.
Doing some rehab duty, or what's going on with the rehab?
A lot of icing, It's, the worst part of it really was the swelling. You can't hardly even move because it's so swollen up. But it's been about a week or so, and it's actually reverse shoulder replacement surgery. So Google that or look up AI and find out what that looks like, because I got some metal parts in my body now. Half man, half machine.
So you're bionic? I mean, can you throw like Sid Finch back in the 1980s, 160 miles an hour?
Well, I'm hoping that they put something in my shoulder to make my golf ball go out a little bit farther when I'm golfing.
So speaking of throwing, which shoulder did they replace? Your throwing, your dominant arm, or was it your other one?
That was my dominant arm, so that's been tougher. Yeah, I'm right-handed, so I'm doing everything left-handed now, so it's a little tougher.
So you'll be ambidextrous.
I will be. That's one good thing that will come out of this. You're correct. Hey, try eating spaghetti with your offhand.
Try eating spaghetti with your offhand. Are you a twist? Yeah. Do you use the fork and spoon and the twist action?
Well, I only got one hand now, so I'm only doing one, so it's a little tougher.
Well, you could ask your wife to feed you. I would try that method first.
That didn't work.
That didn't work.
Scratch that.
Well, so this might put in some... Actually, this won't crimp your plans with your selfie work that you do, because usually when I'm doing selfies with somebody, I'm clicking with my left hand. Do you selfie with your left hand or right?
I 95% right hand.
95? Oh, really?
Yeah. So every once in a while, if the selfie person is coming the wrong way, I got to adjust and go left-handed, so I can't do it, so I can still do it. You're right.
You'll make it work.
I'll make it work somehow.
I think that's what they taught us down at the Harvard of the Midwest, UW-Platteville. Just get it done. Doesn't matter how.
Proud, exactly.
Right
Proud
or left.
Pioneers, right? Yeah.
Proud pioneers. Just for the guests that are listening, A, keep your hands at 10 and 2 if you're listening on the ride into work or going home. But Steve Gehrmann is the selfie king. And if you go to his Facebook page and go through his stiff vetting process on his Facebook page, you'll see a ton of people that he has gotten selfies with or photos with. So with that being said, Steve, going backwards from 5 all the way down to 1, who are your top 5 people that you have taken selfies with? And give us the little quick 30-second backstory. Ready, go.
This is tough, Tim, but I got my top 5 here, even though I have hundreds and hundreds of selfies. This is very tough. So I'm going to give you the top 5, reverse order. Number 5, Stephen Curry.
Stephen Curry. Okay, let's hear the backstory.
And the backstory, here's his backstory. There's always lessons to learn, okay? This is what I love about your show. There's so many lessons. If you don't tell people you love doing selfies or you love doing whatever you're doing, you're not going to get help. I'm at the Ryder Cup in Wisconsin, right? My buddy texts me, hey, Steph Curry's there. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't even know where he is. So me and my buddy are just walking down this path in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, this guy drives by in his cart. Who's in the back? Steph Curry. I take a second and say, hey, that's Steph Curry. What am I doing? I got to run after him. Took a selfie, and it was a great smile by Steph Curry.
And we found out the last 8 to 10 years, he can also play some basketball.
He's pretty good at basketball, too, yeah. He was there interviewing another top 5 selfie. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay, now I'm going to give you, by the way, I'm going to give you a little drum roll right now. Number 4. Go.
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee. That was recently. That would have been last.
That was recently.
September, October?
So actually, was it November?
I think it was October.
It was October, last October in Massachusetts at the Basketball Hall of Fame, Springfield, Massachusetts, at the pre-party. And somebody that I told, again, I didn't even know this person, I told him I'd like to take some selfies. I hope I get Spike Lee. I don't know where he's going to be. This guy comes out of the ballroom saying, hey, Spike Lee's taking selfies with everyone. Better get in there. Spike Lee was the nicest guy. Go in there. He knew that if he sat down, everyone's going to come up to him. So he said, well, I'm also stand up for a little while. Everyone just took selfies and pictures with him. Super nice guy.
Super nice guy. Number 3. Go.
Got to get this one in here. If you're from Wisconsin, you're a Packer lover. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. Out of Southern Miss. So this is at probably in 2016, maybe 2018 at the AmFam Championship.
Oh, yes.
He's putting, practicing. There's a big line of people. He's going to walk through. I kind of get myself situated. I think he's going to walk right through here. I'm just going to jump out and take him. And if you see the picture on Facebook, there's a nice gentleman right behind me with his hand on me, a police officer, saying that's enough. But I got my selfie.
You do what you got to do.
You got to do it, man.
Even if it means breaking the law.
Yeah, I wasn't breaking the law.
No, you weren't.
It was you got to pretend like you got to be there. You belong.
Pretend like you belong. I've used that line several times.
Yep.
Number 2. Go.
Ooh, this is a good one. This is like 1B.
1B.
So good. I couldn't. These two are good. Toby Keith.
Toby Keith.
Now,
the man with 2 first names.
Exactly. Now, this one might be longer than 30 seconds. It's
That's
so
all right.
good, okay?
Let her rip.
He was at the AmFam Championship 2019, I believe. And maybe, I think it was 2019. He was playing at the AmFam Championship at the concert, right? And Friday night.
Oh, yes.
What's his favorite sports team? Do you know, Tim?
Toby Keith's favorite sports team, the
Where's he from?
Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, close. No, Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma Sooners.
I wore my Brian Bosworth jersey to the concert, front row.
Fully expecting that to happen.
And I figured that he would be able to see me because I got my Oklahoma jersey on, right? He did.
Did you lighten up the color of your hair and spike jack it up and shave the sides?
I didn't jack it up. No, I did not jack it up. But I was front row, front center. He saw me a couple times. Someone got kicked out. He looked at me, shrugged his shoulders, said, "What's up with that?" I don't know. And then the next day, he's golfing at the AmFam Golf, right? And I said, "Toby, what do you think about my red, white, and blue shoes?" He goes, "I love it." After the concert, by the way, backstage, who was there? Barry Alvarez and the ex-coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Bob Stoops.
Bob Stoops, yes. And number 1.
I don't know if you can beat this guy. He might be the most recognized face in the world, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. He is the GOAT. And people don't.
He is the GOAT.
Some people don't know who the GOAT is or what the GOAT is. Greatest of all time.
He is. He was phenomenal. He was at the Ryder Cup, and my buddy texted me. He said, "Michael Jordan's there." I said, "What hole?" He said, 10. I'm on 8. I'm running like a bat out of hell trying to get to it. And I'm like, hold on here. I can't run that far. I got to figure out where he's going to be. I'm like, oh, I got to be one step ahead of the ball game, right? You can't be behind. Otherwise, you got to be ahead, right?
Play ahead.
Be behind. So I'm like, he's probably going to be at the NBC studios where Steph Curry was. Let's go over there. So I'm just waiting. And if you go to YouTube TV, punch in Michael Jordan at the Ryder Cup, and Michael Jordan greets fans, right at the end, you'll see me pop out, get a selfie with Michael Jordan, the GOAT.
That's incredible. That is incredible. You obviously were much luckier than I was. I think the only guy that we saw when we were at the Ryder Cup up at Black Wolf Run.
Whistling Straits?
Oh, no, Whistling Straits.
Yeah, Whistling Straits, yeah. Yep.
When we were at Whistling Straits, the only guy that we saw was Pat Connaughton.
Oh, yeah.
Buck,
yep.
former Milwaukee Buck.
Right.
All right,
yep.
Any plans or travel coming up? I know we're shooting this thing, recording it on August 2nd, 2025, but summer's almost over. Anything you got coming up?
Last year we went someplace in September, and it worked out pretty nice, and we're going, actually went to Vegas in September, and it was kind of nice. So we're going to, in October, we're going to fly into Vegas, stay there for a few days, and then we're going to go to Utah, St. George, Utah, do a little golfing, hopefully, which is beautiful. I'm watching TV a few months ago, and I'm watching the Golf Life, and they're in St. George, Utah.
Oh, nice.
And there's a ton of golf out there. I'm like, that's where I want to go.
If you get a chance to go to a concert, I would highly recommend whoever's playing at the Sphere, and it might be could be the Eagles are coming back for a little second short little stint. but the Backstreet Boys could still be there. I would recommend pay whatever you need to pay. You will walk in Steve Gehrmann, and you'll walk out Steve Gehrmann, a changed human being. I don't know what it is, but it's mind-blowing.
It is. I was there for you too.
Oh, you were? I saw the Eagles out there. Blown away. Nice. Mind-blowing.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, we digress. Before we get to your story, and we've already shared a bunch of good ones so far, I need to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, Buck and Honey's restaurants, are a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. Steve, do you cook?
I cook on the grill every now and again, but not like Buck and Honey's cooks.
So what's your genre? What's your style? You got a certain cuisine? Grilling is its own. Barbecuing is kind of its own genre, but what do you like on the grill?
On the grill, I like hamburgers, brats, and steak.
You're pretty...
Meat and potatoes.
You're
Cook
pretty...
up some potatoes in the... Yeah.
Generic guy, which is good. I thought you were going to say salmon, some quinoa.
Ooh, I do like salmon. On
some
the grill.
halibut.
Yeah, do
that. with their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and a welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back with locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, and Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. Most communities in Dane County, which encompasses Madison, Wisconsin, and the surrounding area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. Little drum roll. Have you been to Buck and Honey's, Steve?
Buck and Honey's? Every single location I've been to.
Really?
All of them are great, yeah. Every single one of them.
Too bad they didn't give out a little pin, commemorative coin. Whenever you go to each one of those, you get on some kind of watch list.
That would be nice. That'd
be kind of nice. And I might have to put a plug in with good old Mr. Anderson. Have him do that. On the podcast, our guests follow the format for sharing their story like this. In segment 1, we talk about what was it like. So we get into Steve's history, what happened to get Steve on the podcast. And in segment 2, we continue to talk about what happened and get into what it's like now. And we discuss Steve's 5 suggestions for thriving. Segment 1, what was it like before and what happened? You were raised in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. What was life like living in Sun Prairie back in the 70s and 80s? Population 12 to 15,000 compared to now almost 40,000 people. What was it like back then?
That's crazy, Tim. It's like 4 times as big now that you say that, huh? It was really, just a small town. I lived out in the country, middle of a cornfield, right across from a quarry, and probably like you, I just went out, played all day, came home, eat lunch, went out again, came home for dinner, went out again, came home and went to bed.
I got a quick question about that one, since I've talked to almost everybody that grew up back then, and they usually say that, and they grew up in town, well, when the street lights turned on, that was when we headed home. Or when the fire siren went off at 5 or 6, that's when we had to go home. In the country, how do you know when to go home? Do you guys have one of those like triangles? Come and get it, or a foxhorn, or what'd you have?
That's a good question. I didn't have cell phones. I didn't wear a watch. I just had to ask, is it almost dinner time? And when you're playing with your friends, they go in to eat. I went home to eat. Then afterwards, hey, it's starting to get a little dark. Yeah, I better get home.
Yeah, that's a good one. When you can't see the softball coming in or the basketball or the rim anymore, it's time we better go in. Tell us about your family growing up then, mom, dad, and a couple sisters.
Yep, 2 sisters, mom and dad. My dad worked construction, and I actually helped him a lot. As I was really young, he didn't let me help a lot because I couldn't do much. I just kind of swept up the sawdust. I got to like the sawdust smell. And my mom stayed at home, made dinner, like most families probably in
back
that
then,
era, or back in that time. And, living from across from the quarry, all that's gone now. We used to go across there and just climb up on the rocks. A lot different today.
2 sisters?
2 sisters, yep. And they did the same things. We just kind of hung out together, and did our thing kind of. Walked down to the neighbors. We'd have block parties in the summer, stay up late, and then do it all over the next day.
Much, much simpler simpler time. You have an amazing wife of 28 years this month, August 2025. And
August 23, yep.
And an equally amazing son and a couple of dogs. Go ahead and spin some yarns about them.
Yep, so my wife is Joyce. We met at the Prairie Athletic Club probably 30-some years ago, and we still go there today together.
Was she kicking your butt in the racquetball courts?
She actually watched me keep score on the basketball courts, Sunday night basketball leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yep. Our first, I guess, maybe unofficial date was in the bar with a Snapple.
Oh, a Snapple. That's taking me back a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then one son, Ben, who has been graduated from college a little over 2 years, been working in the real world now for 2 years. He graduated from UW Oshkosh. He's going to be 25 this year.
Sounds like a good family. You got a son, child, yeah, an amazing wife. You attended Sun Prairie High School. Back then, only one school in Sun Prairie, for those that don't know, is located 25 minutes northeast of Madison, Wisconsin. You said you're a proud Cardinal. What are some of your favorite memories from high school?
Favorite memories? Really, just the people that I graduated with.
By the way, a heck of a year to graduate, by the way. 1987. Yep.
1987, yeah, very good year. Yep. Remember going to some football games? That's just when Sun Prairie football was, starting to become really good. Some of the football players were my, best friends, still are today. Some went to college, some did not. Just a great time to be a Sun Prairie Cardinal.
After high school, you would take your talents to the Harvard of the Midwest, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Tongue-in-cheek, we kind of joke about that a little bit.
Right. That was a big announcement back then, too. I had to go someplace, right?
You had to go somewhere, yes. What was the lure? Did you have any other suitors for your talents?
Again, back in the day, it was a little simpler. Now, my son probably toured 5, 6, 7, 8 places, probably, maybe your sons too, or daughters, whoever's listening. I don't think I think I went to one, UW Platteville. I think that's all. And when I was a little kid, back in the 80s, I wasn't a fan of the Bears, obviously. I'm a Packer fan, but...
God, I hope not.
The Bears, that was the only place that NFL team went, so I went to the Bears practices in the early, mid-'80s. So I knew Platteville. And then I knew that they had a radio station, and I wanted to maybe broadcast because I love sports. That's the only place that was on my radar.
So I asked a guest I had a couple of weeks ago, Tim Yant, who goes by the stage name, a.k.a. Tim Scott on ESPN Radio, and I asked him, I said, were you one of those radio guys that would sit in your closet, close the door, turn off the lights, and have a carrot for a microphone or an old shoe or a back scratcher or a fly swatter? Were you that kid that went into the basement and shut the curtains and used something to pretend you were announcing games?
It's funny you say that. I did not, but I had a little handheld radio. My favorite team, because he was my favorite player back in the day.
Please say Robin Yount.
No. I was a basketball guy. I wasn't that tall. Back in the day, you were 6'1", you were kind of tall, right? Now that's short. So I would play tall, and I would try to dunk because of Julius Dr. J. Irving. 76ers were my team. I would listen to them on the radio late at night. I'd go to bed at 9 o'clock. I'd be up at 10 o'clock still listening to the radio, try to get those guys on.
The little Philco in your hand?
Yeah, just a little radio that I won, actually, at some fair.
You have a significant, and maybe this is me just saying it, you have a significant credit to your broadcasting career that we were essentially both part of. We both had really good seats. Mine might have been slightly better than your seats. Go ahead and explain.
Oh, that was UW Platteville. We got there in '87. The basketball team was just starting to
Oh, yes.
come into its own, kind of, you can say. Actually, that year, 87, actually, we were freshmen. They won. Back then, it was at WSUC.
Correct.
Their championship game was at Whitewater.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the stands. I
Same
rushed
here.
the court. In 87, I rushed the court.
So did I.
Who was the guy? The guy was Steve Showalter back in the day, that team.
Back in the day.
So they actually won their first championship our first year, which was phenomenal. I broadcast some of the games and grew as I became a senior. D3 championship game, Franklin and Marshall.
Wittenberg College.
Wittenberg College in Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield, Ohio.
Ohio, yep. And so I broadcast the game, the first game, the Final Four. I was a play-by-play guy. The color guy then was Chris Nearing. Then the championship game, I was the color guy. And I'll say this too, the fan. Because I was watching and broadcasting, I was still a fan. I was, even though I broadcast the game, I was more of a fan. And after after you guys won the championship game, I rushed the court. I went on the court and left Chris by himself to broadcast because I got to take pictures. I got to get down there.
I'm out of here. Go ahead and fire me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh, that was that you got the hair on the back of my neck standing up a little bit because I remember both those games. 1988 when we won the title at UW Whitewater.
Stephen, well, 87, yep, exactly.
87, and then 91, obviously down in Wittenberg at Springfield, Ohio, and it was good stuff. That would catapult you. You would graduate with a radio and broadcasting degree with a minor in business. Tell us about some of your professional stops, because we already mentioned you started out in Watertown and then we fast forwarded to where you're at now, Summit Credit Union. Kind of fill in the spots there, start wherever you want.
Sure. So how did I start out at the radio station in Watertown at WTTN, 1580 AM radio station? Well, it was pretty close to my home, so I could live at home and didn't make a lot of money back in the day. So all I did is drive down Highway 19, Marshall, Waterloo, then Watertown. Every day.
Yes.
That was my path to work. Started out there, door to door, just walking the streets. Watertown, Lake Mills, Waterloo, Marshall, Hustisford, all those little areas around there, trying to drum up business. And then I would also broadcast some Lakeside Lutheran football games, basketball games, and area sporting events, and at the same time sell advertising for those. Was there for about 9 years, and I'm like, well, I'm going to start a family. Do I want to keep driving every day to Watertown? I said, probably not. It's probably not the best thing for the family. So I said, well, I thought I was smarter than I was, right? So I got into selling mortgages for a small little place, and that only lasted 6 months. I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, right? So then I worked at mortgage place, CUNA Mutual Mortgage. Part of CUNA, just a small part of CUNA. I was there for maybe 9 years, unemployed for a little while. They shut down the place, and luckily I found it was actually Great Wisconsin Credit Union. Then they merged with Summit Credit Union. I've been there ever since.
And the rest is history.
Rest is history, yeah.
You self-published 2 books, Your Life, Your Money, Your Choice, 2013, and most recently, The Happy Zone in 2021. Did you always want to write a book? Where did you get your motivation for those 2 things, those 2 endeavors?
Surprisingly, never even thought about it, writing a book, until I was unemployed. And I'd always help people, in advertising, and help business people sell advertising, get more business. At CUNA Mutual Mortgage, I would help people that were behind on their mortgage re-age that mortgage and get back on track. And when I was unemployed, I'm like, what else could I do to maybe reach more people to help them? And I thought, well, I'm in kind of the money business, or, the credit business, helping. Maybe I can write a book. Didn't really, that's all. That ended. It ended at writing a book. I didn't think about writing a good book or writing a book that people will read, or I just wanted to write a book that maybe would help people. And I thought, well, I got to come up with a good, name, don't I? And actually, I was on an airplane, and I thought, hey, this is for some reason, it just came to my head. Your life, your money, your choice. Spend it wisely, and spend money or spend your life. And I kind of wanted to merge the two a little bit. Like, I want to do money, but I want to talk about life. And so that book, back in 2013, I didn't really tell anyone I was writing it. I just did it on my own, researched some of the stuff, self-published it. I thought I had to write a big book, right? So there's a little bit of fluff in there, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some stuff that I think, anyway, is pretty good. Why did I write a second book? First book wasn't as good as I want it to be. I want it to be more about life. I guess the message, or the reason for the madness, is when you do something, make sure you have a clear plan. I didn't really have a clear plan in the first book. It just kind of was a little bit of hodgepodge, but it was what I wanted at the time. But then you look back and say, well, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, right?
And usually that falls in line with, if you're going to do it a second time, you learned from your previous experience what I should do, what I shouldn't do. Here's what I wish I would have. And then you apply that to your second book. In segment 2, you're going to talk us through the types of publishing that go on. And you already mentioned one, the self-publishing, but we're going to get to that here shortly because our listeners want to hear the rest of your story. I need to talk about our sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning. With 4 locations in the Madison area, one is always near. People ask why Buck and Honey's. Owner Tom Anderson places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He has a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their EAP, Employee Assistance Program, but Buck and Honey's does. In July 2021, just 8 years after your first book came out, you wanted to help people by writing your second book. But a few things were in your way from completing that book, not to mention COVID-19. Please stay tuned. Don't change that channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365 and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome back to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim DeCora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where we feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Steve Gehrmann is here today to share his story about writing a book and the work that it takes to accomplish that feat, and he did it twice. He will share how he has survived and thrived that process. In July 2021, you would self-publish your book, The Happy Zone, which I am an owner of, signed copy, mind you. Since the show has a mental health component to it, you mentioned some fear or doubt, essentially signs of anxiety, and you had some questions. You're questioning yourself or asking yourself questions that maybe brought some of that doubt and fear in. Tell us what was going on.
Well, there is always a little bit when you do something and you put yourself out there, I'll say, like you're doing now. You're putting yourself out there for the world to listen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are people going to like it? Are they going to criticize you? Things of that nature. You always think of the negative things first, right? So I'm thinking about this book, and I'm like, man, I'm really trying to, anyway, the best I can, get really deep. And when you open up like that, you open yourself up to some criticism maybe, or, some self-doubt, and you're like, can I handle it?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you just say, you know what, I'm going to, because that's who I am. And that's it. You know what, I'll take the good and the bad together, and do the best I can. Because you're never going to be 100% of the people out there. But you just do the best you can. As long as what you're doing what you want, you think it's right, then that's what you do.
That's good advice. I think you can apply that to just about anything, whether that's writing a book, going to work, going to a new job, switching jobs, or in my case, taking a plunge and getting into the podcasting world, which I had no clue on, and it's been pretty good. Mostly because of the guests like you that come on and share your stories that people want to listen to. What do you recall about the days and weeks leading up to the release of the Happy Zone in July of 2021? Were you anxious? Were you, feeling a little blue about it? It's over with. Go ahead and talk.
I was kind of glad that it was over with, because it was a long process. First book, I did a lot of it when I was unemployed. This book, I'm working 40 hours a week. I didn't have a lot of time. It took like 3 to 4 years. And during some of those months, there were, not just one, there was 2, 3, 4 months at least, and sometimes at a time where I didn't do anything because I just didn't have time and I was burnt out. But unlike the first book, I let people know I'm doing this, so I didn't want to let them down. And I got help from other people too, and people I didn't know, not just my friends and family, but people that I interviewed to get their stories. And it's not just about me. When you get other people to help you, the product, whatever that is, podcast, book, your life, I think is better because you got helping you. Even though at the very beginning, it's hard to tell those people, just like in your podcast, it's hard to start. And I want to bring something up for you, Tim, is it was hard for you to start. It's probably easier now. Sometimes the hardest part is to start. You did it, I did it, but more importantly, you're helping your guests get started. Because sometimes just talking about that anxiety, that mental health is tough. You make it easy. So, applaud to you, applause to you for everybody for you doing this.
Yeah, that's
and it's amazing. You probably find the same thing on your guests. When I was interviewing for the book, I didn't know these people. A few of them I did, but most of them I got referrals from, and they opened up to me like you wouldn't believe. Like I was their best friend, I was their mentor, I was their pastor, I was their family. They told stories to me that were just unbelievable, and some of them were incorporated into the book. How you become happier, and that's one of the things I wrote the Happy Zone for. Is hey, everybody, what can everybody use at least some point in their life? You could be the happiest person you know in the world, but there could be one day that you want to be happier. And it could be any area of your life. You want to be happier with your finances, happier with your relationships, happier with your money. All those things you can be happier with a little bit. And that's what I hope the book does.
That's just great stuff. When you talk about, so you're talking about being happy, but you also alluded to some of that fear and anxiety and those questions that came in while you were preparing this book, writing this book. During these times where you were feeling some doubt, some fear, how were you coping with that?
I think the biggest thing was two factors, really. Leaning on my family and friends, and letting them know that maybe I'm having a tough time, and then they'll bring me up. And then sometimes it's just you. You just have to keep going. There's sometimes I'm like, I just want to give up. This is just too much. And sometimes as you go through a process, whether it be the day, a week, a month, a year, or more than 1 year, sometimes your dreams or your goals maybe can get readjusted. It doesn't have to be exactly the same thing. As you get older, obviously you change, your life changes. Maybe you look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done that, but actually I kind of did it, but it was just a little bit different than what I thought. So two things really is you lean on your support system, your family, friends, whatever that is, and then sometimes you just got to do it yourself. You got to say, you know what, I'm just going to power through this. I know it's tough. I know I don't have much time. I work at 8:30. I'm up already. It's 7 o'clock. I got an hour and a half to do something. I'm going to jot down just a paragraph or two. That's it then. I got a break for lunch. Sometimes during my lunch, I would call people and interview them for the book. After work, I'd go meet people. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't think you got time, you got a little bit more than you think you do.
You got time. Sounds like you started to notice some changes in your demeanor once you started to open up about your fears to family, friends, coworkers. Who or what made the biggest impact for you that kind of kicked you in the butt or moved you forward? Was there anything or someone that did that for you?
I just think that the support, not only from family and friends, but from the people that I interviewed, that just kind of lifted me up a little bit. And I didn't want to let them down. So reverse that and say you didn't tell people that what you're doing, or what you want to do. Well, you're never going to get those people to lift you up because they don't know what you want to do. Go back to the beginning, the selfies, right? If I didn't tell people that I love doing selfies, I wouldn't probably have, a bunch of these selfies that I have, because people tell me, hey, so-and-so is in town, or, Michael Jordan's at the Ryder Cup. Hey, did you see that so-and-so is going to be at the AmFam Championship? You got his selfie. So if you tell people, even though it's hard, because you're opening yourself up, why do you want selfies, Steve? Well, you know what? That's just what I like to do. I love sports. And then, entertainment. I like to pretend like, I can get next to these, high-profile people. That's just who I am. I don't know. But you tell people that, they'll help you.
I don't know.
Even though it's sometimes hard.
I don't know. You entertain me every time I see your Facebook post when you've got some kind of big wheel standing next to you. I'm like, there he is. There's that man.
Yeah. And so what's weird is it's good and bad. Good, I love doing it. And then every once in a while I get in a slump. Geez, I haven't got a selfie for a while, and people will come up to me and say, Steve, where's the next selfie? Who are you going to get? So it's a little bit of a pressure, but it's fun.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have to go into a 12-step program or check yourself into an inpatient facility, or you're going through withdrawals. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you. Tell our listeners, those people that are listening right now who have that, they saw the bio or they saw the heading for this podcast, writing a book. Tell our listeners about the types of ways to get your book out there. You use the self-publishing, which you're going to talk about in a little bit. But talk about the traditional publishing first, can you?
Well, I think traditional publishing is you find a publisher that wants your story. How do you do that? Most likely, you got a lot of followers. Most likely, you're pretty popular. Most likely, you're maybe one of the top economists in the world. Or you're at the top of your game in whatever position you're in. You're a realtor and you sold the most homes. So, so that type of thing. And maybe that publisher then will say, I can make some money off this guy, because that's what publishers do, right? And if you send your book or your story to a publisher, they want to sell your book. So that's how you would get maybe a traditional publishing deal, possibly, right? Mm-hmm. Your story's really good, and that publisher says, yeah, I think that's going to work. That wasn't me. At least I didn't think so. So I just said, hey, how can I write a book? I have no idea. I don't even know the sections of a book. I don't. So what do? You go to AI nowadays, or back then, you Google it and just say, what are the sections of a book? You start piecing it together. How do you self-publish a book? What are the different companies that do it? And you research each one of them. Maybe you call a couple of them. You think, well, which one's the best one for me? And that's what you do. And then, like I did back in the day, in my first job, I went door to door selling radio advertising. Well, you know what? You got to get out there and go to a bookstore and say, look, here's my book. Do you want to buy it? And that's what I did. I kind of went door to door to some bookstores, and some of them bought it, some of them didn't. Those are kind of their choices. And then the biggest thing, too, as we've always talked about, is let people know, because maybe they know of a publisher. Maybe your friend knows a friend. Hey, you know what? He wrote a book. Ask him. And he knows a publisher. If you don't tell people, you can't get help.
So you and I met probably formally about a year and a half, who knows, maybe 2 years ago, to sit down, and I had this curious idea of, I want to write a book. And kind of like you had just said, who do I know that's written a book? Boom, there's Steve Gehrmann's face, and hence we had that sit-down meeting, and he kind of gave me some pointers about what to do in self-publishing and traditional publishing. And what were some of the things that you didn't enjoy about the self-publishing part?
Biggest thing is you need to find an editor, because as good as you think you are, you read your book like 10 times, you might find a couple mistakes. There's more. And that editor is going to fine-proof it and say, well, maybe you shouldn't do this. Okay, maybe you shouldn't do that. And, well, I want to do that. There's a little give and take. If you're really dead set on doing something, you do it your way, because it costs money to write a book. Unless you find a publisher that's going to do it for you, it costs money. So at least for me, myself, and I want to be 100% happy with my book. Well, the editor had some ideas I didn't like. I still went with them. Some I didn't like, and I didn't go with. That was probably the hardest part, because you're giving up what you kind of want to do. The editor says, well, maybe you should see it this way. And most of the time you agree with them or her, and other times you're like, no, I'm sticking with my guns on this one. I want to do it this way. So that was the toughest part, is having the editor say good things but also say bad things about what you're doing, and then you got to say, well, yeah, I guess they're right. You do it that way.
So then on the flip side of that, what were some of the fun things about self-publishing?
I guess the fun things is you kind of come up with your own. Like I came up with the book cover idea, and then getting some of the references that were written on the back, from people like Pat Richter. I was able to get in contact with him, and he gave me a little quote and saying this is a great book and everyone should read it. And then just knowing that, hey, you know what, this looks really cool. I did it, and I can read the book. I can still learn from it, even though I've read it 20 times now. I can read it the 21st time and still learn some things and make myself better as a person.
Good stuff. Lastly, is there a third book in the works?
You know what? It is so funny. Just like the selfie. Is there another one coming? Is there another book coming? This book is good forever. The Happy Zone. it can. There's some books out there that were written 50 years ago that are still on the bookshelves. I think this book it can be good forever. I don't think there's another book. So I'll say no.
You'll say no. We're definitely going to have to put the promo and links and getting everybody a copy of The Happy Zone, published in July 2021, in everybody's Amazon or Thrift Books cart, and get that as soon as you can. This is where the subscribers, followers, and listeners take out the notebooks, pens, and pencils and jot some things down. Here are Steve Gehrmann's 5 suggestions that have allowed him to survive and thrive the book writing process. And here's what you shared, and I'm going to toss these in underhand softball style. Steve, you can hit a softball, can't you?
I can hit it far, Tim. You got it.
Okay, about 60 seconds or less, and I know you have that old-time radio clock in your head. You'll know about that 60-second mark. If you can stay right around there, that would be great. Number 1, and you already mentioned some of these, but we're gonna get a little more in-depth now, like you had mentioned, a little deeper. Have a clear and concise plan. Go ahead and hit that.
Unlike my first book, I just want to write a book, right? Second book, I want to write a book for a certain reason. I want people to be happier. I want them to enjoy life more, and not just what do you mean happy? I want to be clear. I want you to be happier with your job or your career, happier with your health, happier with your money and finance, happier with your faith, and happier with your relationships. So instead of just one thing, you got to break it down. You got to be clear and concise, whether you're writing a book or you're living life.
Number 2, tell others what you are doing or what you want to do. Go ahead and hit that.
Got it, Tim. So we talked a little bit about this already, but if you don't tell others what you want to do, how can they help you? It doesn't matter if you're writing a book. It doesn't matter if you're looking for a job because you're unemployed. Hey, I was unemployed. I was afraid to tell people I was unemployed. But eventually I did, and they said, why don't you talk to this guy? He knows a bunch of people. Then I finally found a job. But if you don't tell people you're looking for a job, how can they help you?
Well said. Well said. Number 3, find a mentor. Go ahead and hit that.
Kind of goes hand in hand with number 2, but find someone that maybe has already written a book or maybe is going through what you're going through, whether it being unemployed, having some anxiety for some reason, dealing with a problem. Find that person, him or her, and ask them how they made it through what you're already going through, and they can help you.
That kind of bleeds into number 4 then. Ask questions and research how to. Go ahead and hit that.
Good one. Hey, people can only help you so much, okay? They can't go and buy your groceries for you. They can't, apply for a loan for you. Sometimes you got to do a little bit by yourself. So you might have to research on your own. So, hey, even though these people are going to help you, you might have to do the dirty work yourself. You got to maybe Google, find out what do I have to do to write a book? How do I do it? What are the processes? What are the steps? Or whatever you're going through, Google it, go to AI. There's so much resources nowadays at your fingertips. You can do it. Sometimes you have to do it yourself.
Well said. And number 5, and you alluded to this earlier, but I think it's great. Keep going. Dream, and remember, dreams can change on the way. Go ahead and hit that.
So, just like I did with the book, sometimes you're going to give up. And then maybe you revisit that dream down the road. And maybe it's the same dream. Maybe it's a little bit different. You can always adjust. Just like, hey, Tim, when you got married, you got to adjust, right? When you have a child, you got to adjust a little bit. You have to adjust your budget. You have to adjust your lifestyle. You have to adjust your time, your energy, your money. So sometimes things will change, but maybe it's for the better.
Lots of good stuff right there. And really, what an episode. I mean, it kicked off with your 5 selfies and your most impressive ones and the little backstories, and then you talk about really why I had you on today, and talk about the book, because I'm still in that process. It's not 4 years yet. It's going on about 2 of writing my book and getting it done, and hopefully this gives me a little kick in the butt to get going. But I'm glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew today. Your story and the experiences you've had in the last 10 to 15 years is kind of inspiring, and you've inspired me to keep at it with the book. Your story reminds us all to have coping skills or mental health tools in the toolbox when a person is met with trying times in life. And though writing a book is not as trying as some other things could be, you still had to deal with some of those questions and some of those anxiety issues, and they affect everybody the same, whether it's one thing or another. And despite that, you have been surviving and thriving. Our call to action: Steve Gehrmann just shared his story about writing a book and the hard work that it takes to go through that process. His mission in writing The Happy Zone was to help people and give them hope. I know you've done that with me, Steve, that you've given me some hope and you've inspired me to keep going. Here are Steve's 5 suggestions that helped him survive and thrive during that process. Number 1, have a clear and concise plan. Number 2, tell others what you're doing or what you want to do. Number 3, find a mentor. Number 4, ask questions and do some research on how to. And number 5, keep going, dream, and remember, dreams can change on the way. Final thoughts as we close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. Are there any final thoughts? Steve Gehrmann.
Hey, Tim, I just want to thank you for doing this podcast, making it easy for people to get their story out. I'm going to leave you with your quote, okay, Tim? And this goes to you as well. Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. You make it easy for people to come on and tell their story. So congratulations.
Thanks again, Steve. On our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learn to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecora@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.